The envelope was thick with money, but the silence between them felt even heavier. The single father stared at the woman across the table, confused by the strange offer she had just made. She had paid him more than he earned in a month, yet the look in her eyes suggested that money was never the real reason she was there. Something deeper, something painful, was hiding behind her calm expression. And when she leaned closer and whispered what she truly wanted, his entire world shifted in a way he never expected. Before we continue this emotional story, take a moment to support kindness and powerful stories like this. If you believe in second chances and the power of compassion, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs inspiration, and subscribe to the channel Brightly Kindness for more heart-touching stories. Daniel Carter had learned long ago that life rarely gave second chances. At 34 years old, he was a single father raising his 6-year-old daughter Lily in a small rented house on the edge of the city. His days were a constant race between two jobs, school drop-offs, grocery bills, and sleepless nights. Ever since Lily's mother walked out years ago, Daniel had been both father and mother to the little girl who looked at him as if he were the strongest man in the world. But strength doesn't always mean stability. The factory job Daniel depended on had recently reduced workers' hours. Bills were piling up on the kitchen table. Some nights he skipped dinner so Lily could have a full plate. Still, he never complained. Every evening he returned home exhausted, only to kneel beside Lily's bed and read her favorite bedtime story with a tired smile. For Daniel, Lily was everything. One afternoon, after finishing a long shift delivering packages across the city, Daniel received a strange message through a local community board. A woman wanted to hire someone for a private arrangement that required trust, responsibility, and kindness. The pay listed in the message was shockingly high for such a simple request. Normally, Daniel would have ignored something so unusual. But desperation has a way of pushing people to take chances they would otherwise avoid. That evening, he arrived at a quiet hilltop restaurant overlooking the glowing city lights. The woman waiting for him stood out immediately. She looked elegant and composed, wearing a simple white dress that contrasted with the dark skyline behind her. Her blonde hair was tied loosely, and although she appeared confident, there was a deep sadness in her eyes that Daniel couldn't ignore. Her name was Elena Whitmore. Elena was known in the city as a powerful entrepreneur who owned several successful companies. But in person, she seemed less like a wealthy executive and more like someone carrying an invisible weight on her shoulders. They spoke quietly over dinner. Elena asked Daniel about his life, his daughter, and his struggles. Daniel answered honestly, unsure why someone like her would care about the details of his simple life. Then she slid the envelope across the table. Inside was a payment large enough to cover his rent and bills for months. Daniel's heart raced with confusion. He had not even agreed to anything yet. Elena explained that she needed someone she could trust to help with a personal situation. She said she had everything money could buy: companies, luxury homes, recognition. But none of it had given her the one thing she longed for most: a real family. Years of focusing on her career had left her isolated. Relationships had failed. Friends were distant. And now, watching other families laugh and share simple moments reminded her of everything she had missed. But the part that truly shook Daniel was what she said next. Elena had seen him earlier that week at a park while he played with Lily. She had watched quietly from a distance as Daniel lifted his daughter onto the swings and laughed with her. The joy between them had been genuine, pure, and full of love. It was something Elena realized she had never experienced. The payment, she explained, was not for anything complicated. She simply wanted Daniel to spend time helping her understand what real family life looked like. She wanted to learn how to slow down, how to connect with people, how to feel the warmth she had been missing all these years. But when she leaned closer and whispered her true wish, Daniel finally understood. She didn't want to buy a family. She wanted to learn how to belong to one. At first, Daniel felt uncertain. His life was already fragile, and bringing a stranger into it seemed risky. But something about Alina's vulnerability felt sincere. Beneath the wealth and success was a woman who was simply lonely. Over the following weeks, Alina began visiting Daniel and Lily on weekends. At first she stayed quiet, observing their routines, pancake breakfasts, movie nights, trips to the park. Lily, with her innocent heart, welcomed Alina without hesitation, treating her like a new friend rather than a wealthy stranger. Slowly, Alina began helping in small ways. She cooked dinner with Daniel, helped Lily with homework, and even joined their silly weekend traditions. For the first time in years, she laughed without the pressure of business meetings or expectations. And something remarkable happened. The more Alina experienced their simple life, the more she realized that happiness had nothing to do with wealth. It came from shared moments, trust, and the quiet feeling of being needed. Meanwhile, Daniel noticed changes too. Alina's presence brought warmth into their home. She encouraged Lily's dreams, helped Daniel find better work opportunities, and reminded him that he didn't have to face every struggle alone. One evening, months after their first meeting,